Hi guys, welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your daily horoscope for July 2nd, 2021, which is a Friday. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that the monthly horoscopes for July are up on the YouTube channel. You can watch all of them. They're for your rising sign and sun sign. And I also do daily video horoscopes that I post on my YouTube channel every single day. I do weekly video horoscopes that I post every single week. And I also do monthly sun, rising sign horoscopes that you can watch as well. I also request you to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. Now, let's get started. So today is a day after the Saturn-Mars opposition. We are still in that energy. However, the energy is a little less intense than yesterday because the exact opposition has happened. Saturn here is at 1217 right now, and Mars has hit 13 degrees. So now the planets are beginning to move apart. That being said, today into tomorrow is when Mars and the Uranus square is going to come exact. So we are going to feel this square, the Mars-Uranus square, more intensely in the next today into tomorrow. And this is a very powerful energy. It's a very potent energy. Let's break this energy down. Yes, we've gone through the Mars-Saturn opposition. I'm not going to speak about that today because I spoke about it in depth yesterday, so you can watch my yesterday's video if you missed out on that. But this Uranus-Mars opposition square is about sudden, unexpected changes that can propel us to action. And this can be a lot of energy, so one must be mindful that there's no anger, there's no frustration, there's no confrontation, because this energy can really suddenly push us to confront things, to get angry about things. So that's the negative side down, like that's the negative effect of this energy. However, on the positive side, this energy can really push us into taking action, can really push us towards things that we've been feeling scared, lacking courage towards taking action to. So that's the energy. We're going to feel it today into tomorrow, especially tomorrow. But now the build-up has started. Mars has hit 13 degrees. So that's the first thing. And while the second thing is that while the Mars-Saturn opposition has begun to ease out, we still have that intensity with us. It's very intense right now. So give it another 1 or 2 days at least to let this energy pass fully. And what this energy is completely broken down in my yesterday's video. But very quickly, this energy is about being pushed towards taking action, towards making decisions that will propel us more towards being our authentic selves, more towards being our unique selves. And there's some healing in that. And this energy will also push us towards our goals so that we can leave the past behind more and more easily. Now, I'm not going to speak more about that today. The next thing I want to talk about is the moon. So the moon in Aries right here at 19 degrees is going to sextile Mercury, 60-degree angle. This happens at about 8 a.m. Pacific time, so 8 p.m. India time. And this is a positive, feel-good moment. At this moment, the moon, which is our emotions, heart and soul, Mercury, which is our mind, day-to-day routine, thinking, diet, exercise, job, health. Mercury is a lot of things. Our immediate environment, our surroundings, our peer group, our siblings. Somehow, mentally and emotionally, we are feeling very positive about these things. And perhaps it's because we're able to move forward, take that action when it comes to all Mercury-related things, whether it's communication, whether it's writing, whether it's some changes in the immediate surroundings, or your peer group, or your health, or your job, or your diet, or your exercise, anything like that. So that's the morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, evening for India, 8 p.m. And then we're going to talk about what happens next, and that's in the evening Pacific time. So I'm going to move up the chart so that you can see this. And today's energy, okay, let me speak about this, then we'll talk about today's energy a bit more. Now, at about 8 p.m. Pacific time, the moon here at 25 degrees is going to square 90-degree angle with Pluto. Now, this is a point of emotional transformation, emotional healing, emotional catharsis, emotional ending of a certain way of being and a beginning of another. And since they're in a square 90-degree angle, which represents friction, challenge, obstacles, this transformation or healing or ending of an old way of being, beginning of a new way might feel stressful. It might require some changes that you will have to make actively. It won't just easily happen. Some changes take place very easily. You don't make much effort and the change sort of happens on its own. This is not one of those energies. This is where actively we'll have to take that action, adjust something, overcome that challenge, and then after that there will be some emotional transformation, emotional healing, emotional catharsis, the end of an old way of being and the beginning of another way, emotionally speaking. So that's 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Pacific time, 8 a.m. India time, July 3rd for India. So that's the energy for today. Now, I do want to mention that today's energy, there's not much happening by itself today because the main event happened yesterday, the Mars-Saturn opposition, but we are still feeling that energy and we are still building up to the Mars-Uranus exact square. So this is a lot of intensity as well. And at the same time, we are also building up to the Sun Chiron square, which happens on July 3rd, tomorrow. So let's talk about the Sun Chiron square because this energy is building up and we're going to feel it very soon if we are not already feeling it. Now, the Sun is our soul, it's our consciousness, it's our identity, it's who we are, right? And Chiron is our deepest wound, but it's also how we heal. But the healing with Chiron comes in a bittersweet way. And when these planets square, there's friction between these two elements, which demands us to change something, which demands us to adjust something. So at this point, the build-up until tomorrow is about adjusting something, making a change, so that we can have some sort of healing connected to our identity, connected to our consciousness, to our soul, to who we are. And with Chiron, this healing might feel bittersweet. And in a square aspect, it most likely will feel bittersweet. Yeah. And we are going to see this come exact tomorrow, July 3rd. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow. And another thing we are building up to is the Venus-Saturn opposition. Now these two planets are getting ready to oppose one another. Now Venus and Saturn are very different energies and don't really see eye to eye. We'll talk about all those things, but this happens next week. So we still have time, but the build-up has started. Venus moves pretty fast. So another 3-4 days and we'll see this come exact. So to sum up today, I would say we are at a point where a lot of changes are taking place, a lot of action is required, and a lot of this action is to propel us towards our unique, authentic self, towards our truth, towards who we actually are. And this process might not feel very easy, it might feel stressful, but at the end of it, there's change, there's growth, there's movement. Squares makes things happen. Without squares, things would not happen. Without oppositions, that's where the change comes in. That's where the growth takes place. So these few days are all about growing, about changing, about making things happen, about taking action that will connect you with your authentic self, with who you truly are. And there is healing in that. There is healing in that because Mars here is trining Chiron. And as we heal, this energy will also propel us towards our goals, towards the life that we are building, have been building for the past 6 months at least, and a year and a half as well. So now is the point where that energy will really propel us towards building that life. And this life that we're building is for the long run. Saturn here has been trining the North Node. It has been making our goals that are for the long run. So today is another day where action will be required, changes will take place. It might feel stressful. It might feel like a lot of intensity, a lot of energy. There can be anger, there can be frustration. So just be mindful of that. And this week into next week is a little bit intense. Yeah. So now I will give you a very brief background. Now, if you've seen this, please skip to the reading. And if you haven't, I urge you to watch at least once, because these energies that I'm going to speak about now are what we deal with on an everyday basis, but they're underlying. These cycles started back then. On a day to day basis, they do not change, but we feel them every day. So let's talk about what these energies are. The first is the Saturn-Uranus square. Now these planets have been squaring all year, and the square is going to come exact 3 times. Once in Feb, once in June, once in December. So it's happened 3 times. And this energy is rare. It's happening after 21 years. And what this energy is asking of us is to get rid of old things, old thought patterns, old ways of living, being, thinking that don't serve us anymore, and to embrace the new, embrace things that will serve us now. And it's also asking us to embrace our truth, embrace our unique self, embrace our authenticity. And since these planets are in a square aspect, this transformation from getting rid of the old into the new, of getting rid of the idea of who you think you should be and embracing who you actually are, will feel stressful, will require change, will require effort, will require you to overcome challenges. But the good news is we're almost halfway there, right? 2 squares have happened. That means only one more exact square is left, only 6 months left. And in 2022, we will still feel this energy, but not as intensely. So that's the first thing. And we deal with this every day. The second thing is again Saturn related, Saturn Jupiter. They met up in December of 2020, so 6 months ago, and they meet up once in 20 years, so that's a rare thing as well. And when they meet up, they begin a new 20-year cycle. So that's what they did. They started a new 20-year cycle, and the foundation for that cycle we will build in the next 2 years, within the next 2 years till 2023. So right now we're building, right now we're discovering who we are, finding our truth, embracing it, getting rid of old things, embracing the new. It's a lot of transformation taking place. And the third thing is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. These planets met up in Jan of 2020 after 38 years and ended a 38-year cycle that began in 1982. And now they started a new cycle in Jan of 2020, which has changed our material reality in a very powerful way. And we have understood most of that change, most of that shift, but I believe we are still building into that. And slowly and subtly, we will continue building into that for at least 2-3 years, at least. And the last thing that I want to touch upon are the nodes. The North Node is in Gemini, the South Node in Sag. Now, they were in the same placement between 2001 and 2003, and the nodes are karmic. So if there's some karmic stuff that has not been resolved from 2001 and 2003, that might come back into your life for you to resolve, review, reprocess, or close out completely, or take with you into your life forward. Now that's all the background that I will give, and I will pick a card for today, and then we'll close the reading out. Shall we go with these two? I think we can. Okay. Fork in the road. Unfinished symphony. Let's start with fork in the road. We have not got this card before, and fork in the road is, we have 2 choices, right? There's a fork in the road. There are 2 diverging paths that we need to choose from. And this so very well ties into the energy that we're facing, that Mars and Saturn, we need to decide how we're going to take action. We need to decide how we're going to move forward. And this card sums up that energy so well. We need to decide. We need to decide. We need to choose. We need to define our path. Saturn definition, where we are headed, our goals, all that is going to come into the decision. It's going to play itself out. But at this moment, the universe is asking us to take that forward step, decide which path we're on, to decide how we're going to take that action, define how we're going to move forward. So this is definitely referring to the Mars-Saturn opposition that has been building. It is also today referring to the Mars-Uranus square that will come exact today into tomorrow, which is about that sudden action, that sudden decision, that sudden forward movement. Decide. old ways or new roads. Decide. And this unfinished symphony, it's come up 2-3 times before, and to me this says our work is not done. It's unfinished. Like I said, we're building, we're transforming. It will take at least 2 years to lay this foundation, to understand the energies, to embrace our unique self. Right now we're doing that work and it's unfinished. So carry on. This card is saying carry on. It's unfinished and you must complete it. You must work. And interestingly, going back to this card has a 13. It's number 13, right? And Mars and Uranus are going to square at 13 degrees. To me, this is that energy of that sudden forward movement, sudden action with Saturn, with the opposition to Saturn, with the Mars-Saturn opposition and square to Uranus of Saturn as well. This is definitely a decision point. A decision point in a journey, in a foundation that is unfinished. So that's all I'm going to leave you with. To sum it up, this energy is still very intense. Be mindful of getting angry, of getting irritated, getting frustrated, confrontation, of acting impulsively. Try to refrain that because it can be a very intense energy. Okay, and this energy is also accident prone, so just be mindful of that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Do hit the subscribe button, do hit the bell icon, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.